Hi everyone, this is Kyla from Hidden Gems Literary Emporium, your family-owned nonprofit community bookstore. And today we have Ashley Beaudrow.
Yes, yep, Ashley Beaudrow.
From Plans for Nonprofits. And we're here because we have an event Saturday, April 30th from 3 to 6 right here. And it's for National Independent Bookstore Day. And we're bringing in plants because we love plants. And Ashley came to Plants and Poetry, an event we had with Choosy.us months ago. Oh my goodness, how long ago was that?
It's a couple months now, yeah.
Yeah, almost 6 months ago now. And so we like plants, we like poetry, we like books. So tell us how you started Plants for Nonprofits.
Yeah, so obviously I collect a lot of plants. I have a lot of house plants. At this point, it's an abundance of house plants. So I like to propagate them. I like to grow them. And, you know, actually, I went on a vacation. I met somebody who runs a nonprofit. And just, you know, seeing what they do to help families and what they do for fundraisers, I felt like, wow, you know, they're selling T-shirts or they're doing different things. I'm like, well, I have these plants and, you know, people already sell these plants and they have the value. So, and people want them. It's a great way to make that happen for nonprofits for donations. So instead of buying them and, you know, paying the seller, it would just be, hey, I have a plant. You know, this is the price for donation, and people would make those donations towards the, you know, nonprofit organization. So, yeah.
I love that concept because people love plants. Whether you are a plenty, because there's different levels. Like super duper planty, you're probably super duper planty.
I'm like the cat lady of plants. Like it's there.
Yeah, so you got cat lady of plants, then you have, you know, people who have plants, and then, you know, people who, if they see a plant, they'll buy it. Like if it's for a good cause, they'll be like, let me just take this plant home. And then people maybe who don't have plants because they feel like they can't keep them alive. What do you think about that?
My best friend. She's like the exact opposite of me. She she has a little group that is like runs on solar power, and it's like not alive. So and she swears that's her only plant that she can keep alive. She gives it sun, so it works. But other than that, I mean, you know, having a green thumb, I feel like obviously it's trial and error. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've killed a plant. Like, it happens. I mean, things happen. So, but obviously, you know, you start to learn how to take care of them and what they want. You can start to see, like, this guy, he's having a little bit of a rough day from being out in the cold here.
Yeah.
But he will perk right up. But yeah, so it just starts trial and error. And, yeah.
Raymond's abuela says that it helps to talk to the plants and love plants. Do you talk to your plants?
I don't necessarily talk to them, but I do play music, so you know, I feel like they definitely respond to that.
Yeah.
Obviously, carbon dioxide coming from your mouth is what they like too. So, yeah.
True. It's all about vibes too. Well, we're gonna talk about the event too, but last planty question. So, what was my question? Oh, okay. So this plant, what type of plant is this?
Oh, look.
Oh, this is the one you sent me the picture of, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the one we did at the Plants and Poetry.
Yeah. Okay, so at our last event, Plants and Poetry, we did this exercise with Maureen. Yes. And we wrote poems or lines from poems on little green piece of paper. Go where the love is, and you won't be lost again. Love is powerful. Haiku. And so this plant is called
Philodendron golden dragon. I would call it green dragon since you're not seeing any of the variegation, but it's just as beautiful as green.
That's right. And this is not soil.
So no, it's soilless, yeah. It's sphagnum and perlite mixed.
So, and back to the original question, how do you know, and I don't want the answer of this to be Google, but how do you know if you could put soil or something else or moss or some plants grow in rocks or something. There's different mediums that you can use.
So I now am really only doing semi-hydro. I kind of actually avoid soil, to be honest. So obviously this is in soil. Like this does have soil, but it has sphagnum on top. But they're mature. They've been in there for a while. When it comes to propping, I like to use semi-hydro, and then once they're there and they've been there, they're just good for life there. But yeah, obviously sphagnum, I mean, if you see a philodendron in the wild, they're growing on trees, and they're putting off aerial roots, and there's moss and sphagnum everywhere, basically. Yeah. So that's, it's been a really good method, semi-hydro. So I keep it moist, and the roots are happy.
Last question. What do you use to water your plants?
Actually, I use distilled water for my houseplants, but I mix it in with like micronutrients. So there's brands like Liquid Dirt or Super Thrive. That's not really fertilizer though, since this doesn't really have any nutrients in this type of medium. Basically, you have to add them in there. So, so it just waters it with that. Mix it in, and yeah, it grows. Obviously, I have to fertilize it, periodically. But yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes. When did you start being a planty person? Was it when you were young?
So, when I lived in Texas, I was growing plants.
That's a great place to grow plants, right?
It's better. Well, I wouldn't say New Jersey is the garden state for a reason.
Okay, true.
But it's only for the period of time, during the growing season. Winter is like, it's not happening. So, at least outdoors. But yeah, that's where I really started, doing some veggies and succulents and whatnot. And as far as house plants, I didn't do too many indoor plants. And then, I moved back home actually, and I started growing, doing my veggie garden outside, and then I started getting into house plants. So now I'm really just, for the most part, I have philodendrons and aeroids, and then Hoyas. So that's kind of like my main 2 plant categories. So there's millions. I mean, there's so many plants out there. So I kind of have a niche, like, as far as spraying, you were talking about spraying before.
Yes.
I don't really have to spray them just for the fact that they're in a decent humidity.
Okay.
So it kind of stays, moist in there. So.
Do you have a greenhouse?
I do have a greenhouse, but I also have cabinets. So cabinets are pretty nice for the winter. And then in the summertime, obviously humidity generally goes up, so I can start moving them around the house again. But during winter, winter's coming, I have to put the plants on. Yeah.
There's a science to this.
So PhD in biology, I would love to do astrobiology, like learning like how to like grow plants on Mars. That would be like, so supposedly they did an experiment where they did grow. Well, it only lasted a day till it obviously the temperature goes up and down. Yeah. Supposedly it was enclosed, but it died very quickly. So I'd like to find out ways to, they have strawberries, and they put the cold gene into strawberries so that they can grow out, side year round. So obviously Rutgers University is, a place that really, they have their stuff together when it comes to agriculture. Right, so, right. Things like that would be, it's almost like maybe they'd have to modify it to make it survive in that adverse environment. But, like, obviously, you could do Antarctica and practice in different places and different soil. So it's another substrate that I don't have with me is, like, pon. It's like volcanic rock and,
really?
Pumice stone. So it's kind of like, when you think of, like, Mars, it's like Martian, like,
Martian rock soil.
Like, but obviously, it's not similar because there's like lots of chemicals in Mars soil, right. So that would be a concern. But I'd like to be able to test that and like see, how to simulate it. Obviously there's like 95% carbon dioxide. I'm like ranting about like science stuff now.
I'm so impressed. I'm like, is she a low-key scientist? High-key scientist?
No,
I mean, you need to know science stuff.
So like Google. I mean, I have NASA.gov probably has flagged me for like Google, like being on their website a little too much. No, to be able to grow in adverse environments is pretty obviously plants like carbon dioxide, but they do need oxygen. So going full 95% is like a lot. And temperature wise, it's
a lot to consider. Yeah, because they're fragile, right? Okay, so April 30th, we're having an event here for Independent Bookstore Day. And our co-sponsor is Plants for Nonprofit. And so they, all of them, are going to be bringing plants that you can make a donation for, right? Mm-hmm. And then take the plant home.
So it's like a gift with purchase, you know? It's like a gift with donation. So it's nice. It's I feel like it's a great way to, try a plant. The donation went to a good place, and it's get to bring your little plant friend home. So it's nice.
Yes, and all of the tickets are donation-based on hiddengemscelebration.eventbrite.com, and all the proceeds go towards our 1,000 free book tour in July from New Jersey to Florida. We are in great need of a bookmobile, so we need a bookmobile, amongst other things, to get this done, but first and foremost, we need a bookmobile. So share the link. I hope to see you guys there. It's right after Records Day, and support Hidden Gems and support Plans for Nonprofits. And we also have a cool community art project based in poetry, and it's actually going to be a surprise, so we're not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it'll be really fun, and we hope to see you guys there. Connect with Plans for Nonprofits on Facebook. There's a page and a group, right?
Yep, the group is really what, the plant community on Facebook is pretty serious. And the group, the page is just so that, hey, if anybody wants to know what it is, they can then see it. But it's a private group, but, once you're in there, it's all the fun plants that are up, and people will post, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
This has been since October, so, it just recently, started, but I will say we hit $2,000 just, in donations to nonprofits. Wow. And that's with everybody in the group coming together and, putting plants between, doing raffles and stuff like that, or, so they'll just post it and say, hey, here's the price, and here's the, here's where the donation's going to, and here's where you can pick up your plant. So it's kind of a meet people and connect.
It sure is. I love that concept. You guys should do festivals and conventions. Thank you for supporting Hidden Gems Literary Emporium, your family-owned nonprofit community bookstore, and Plans for Nonprofits. We have a whole bunch of authors coming out. We have music, art projects, and a couple other things. So come on out Saturday, April 30th from 3 to 6, right here at Hidden Gems Literary Emporium. We love you for reading and planting. And we'll see you